This is the full moon in Aries for October 9th, 2022. Now, let's get started. We have the moon in Aries at 16 degrees. And we have, of course, the sun in Libra at 16 degrees as well. Now, interestingly enough, we have Venus within 3 degrees conjoining the sun. And we also have Chiron, the healer, at 14 degrees of Aries within 2 degrees of the moon. And Chiron is an asteroid and it is a healer because Chiron is connected with the breaking up of uh, incidences and the need to heal, kind of the asteroid of chaos to some degree, but in its wake, it can transform our lives and create a healing. And with Chiron conjoining the moon in Aries and the full moon in Aries, with also the sun conjoining the Venus in Libra, this is all about the connection with relationships. And of course, bear in mind wherever these planets exist in your personal birth chart is going to be of utmost importance. But yes, this is about relationships because uh, Libra is connected with the seventh house. It's connected with legalities, it's connected with peace and harmony, all forms of relationship. That's with partnerships, that's with love. It's also dealing with the public. And with Venus there, we will have a very keen sense of the social graces and the added connection with wanting to get along, keep the peace. Also, it's very artistic because Libra is about beauty, and we are going to feel like this is what we want to project right now, our creativity, our sense of aesthetics and beauty, and that's in all areas, whether it's our personal artistry, creativity, our sense of fashion, wherever we find beauty and balance, shape and form in our lives. And we will have a sense of bringing that into our business or work life as well. And with the moon in Aries, with the healer, Chiron, it's about looking to our sense of harmony and getting along in our connections with groups to bring a sense of healing and balance into our lives. And on one hand, there is this natural opposition here with the full moon in Aries. So we're going to need people. We're going to feel like we have to get other people's help. We need to get others' input into whatever we need certain assistance with. So that is very good. And also, with this Venus conjoining the sun, Chiron in joining up with the full moon, not only do we have this sense of group activity and needing to cooperate, get along with others, and also really express our opinions and take the lead, Aries, on what we feel should be the right outcome of whatever project we're working on. It's very good for relating to other people, and that right now will be the highlight. It's almost like, especially with Chiron, with the moon, it's like we have this sense that we are not complete unless we relate to and open up to, and possibly try to get the assistance from other people. And this is very healing. It's a time of harmony, group endeavors. It's just a very, well, Libra, balanced full moon in Aries. But we cannot ignore the fact that there is this opposition in the full moon. So, although we feel the great need to connect with each other, we will also have to find that connection or balance, equality in our opinions with each other, because we're talking Aries and Libra, so we're going to be kind of really going about expressing our opinions and bouncing around a lot of ideas. And sometimes some of these ideas may not always be on the same page with those nearest and dearest. That can include, again, family, business, all kinds of relationships, and so on. So the trick here with this Aries and Libra connection axis is to find that balance of cooperation and getting along and finding the focus where we all agree on a particular ideal or principle, and so on and so forth, and to work together, not to take the lead, because Aries, this is what I want, this is what I believe, and it's about blending and cooperating with the group. And that is what's going to be highlighted on this Aries full moon. So, what is absolutely wonderful, however, with this full moon in Aries is this sweet grand air trine. We've got 13, 16 degrees of the sun in Libra, 18 degrees retrograde, Saturn in Aquarius, and Mars at 22 degrees of Gemini. So there's going to be a slightly closer trine just before the full moon in Aries, maybe around the 5th, because we're talking Mars is now on the 9th of October at 22 degrees of Gemini. So it makes somewhat of a wide grand, or excuse me, a wide trine to the sun at 16 degrees Scorpio. Nonetheless, it is. And yes, it's so important to look to where this is in your personal birth chart. However, Air is very intellectual. It's very scientific, very research oriented. It's about technology, the future, and air. We're not talking just Gemini here. We're talking Libra. We're talking Aquarius. Air is all about people. It's all about group activity. It's all about social whatever, social media, and air signs like to bounce around ideas. They're intellectually oriented. And it's also with the Aquarius connection with Saturn, even retrograde, it's technological. And with Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and again, we're talking about also here the Aquarius connection, it's about space, technology, science, education, and negotiation. bouncing around ideas. And with this Aries full moon, Libra Aries axis, wow, the full moon in or around the 9th October is going to be all about groups, social, everything, anything, a lot highlighted with discussions on social media, or even social media itself could become the news, but not in a negative way, but in a positive way. There could be some topic that is possibly of concern, but I'm feeling more of something rather popular now that will be in the news that is connected with science or technology. It could be some kind of a breakthrough, technologically speaking, or some kind of principles, ideals that deals with the 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 masses, the public, uh, the collective. And actually, this is a very, for a full moon, this is a very light-hearted full moon. Keep in mind, because it is the full moon, it is the ending of a cycle or the closing uh, of a book of something in particular. But because of this air trine, whatever we, let's just say, may be concerned or unhappy about right now, this opens the book for discussion. And it's giving an aura of, yes, lightheartedness, uh, light banter, socially, uh, newsworthy, personally, yes, personally, even. We want to open up. We want to talk. We want to discuss. We want to intellectualize. And this is going to be a highlight about science, technology. Yes, possibly information dealing with space. And that could be just about anything, space travel, what have you, the future. Uh, and so we may personally receive some good news that is along the lines of education, science, technology. Uh, it's kind of like a healing connection there, especially with Chiron on the full moon in Aries. So yes, expect a healing, expect light discussion, but yet this very light-hearted atmosphere. Can't say that enough. It really is a very somewhat of an easygoing Aries full moon. So let's look at some other aspects here. We've got Jupiter now at 1 degree, 59 minutes, so roughly about 2 degrees retrograde, still in the sign of Aries. So we are looking to the past, ideas that we can gain from going back and looking to, say, old jobs or old projects that may help us to what? To prosper, because this is what Jupiter is about, prosperity, but it is retrograde. So we're going to look within. Yes, we may look to the past in order to gain some uh, gains as far as money, prosperity, business, and so on, which may be, once Jupiter goes direct, profitable for us moving forward. But on the other hand, Jupiter, yes, keep in mind it is about, when it's retrograde stage, going within. So there's this time we are going to see some especially impressionable, maybe even enlightening enlightening gurus now, people that we can look to that will give us sound advice and wisdom. Jupiter, especially once Jupiter then gets back to the sign of Pisces. That will be very inspirational indeed. But it kind of, even if in its retrograde phase at 159 of Aries, kind of has a Pisces feel to it. So our sensitivities right now are very heightened. But yes, we have a lot connected with and going back to that which helped us prior with our career, with our job, with our money making ideas, and taking that and incorporating it into a possible new project, business idea, venture, so on and so forth, wherever Jupiter is in your personal chart, and somehow incorporating that into our life and our future. And how does that fit in with our beliefs, our philosophies? Are we going to go, say, back to the past with an old career or job? And will that make us happy? Will we be content or satisfied going back to something that we used to connect with that created certain gains for us? And will that help us to gain or prosper in the future? Jupiter retrograde in Aries. Now, this grand trine, yes, is a highlight, no question. But yes, we've got Mars in Gemini, and that will make a sextile to this full moon in Aries. And it is uh, Aries fire, and it is Mars and Gemini air sextile. So that's very productive. Not quite as uh, light as the Grand Trine, but nonetheless, it is very positive and very productive. So we are going to have a very productive and positive attitude towards whatever it is that we are working on, a positive, productive attitude towards the future. And with fire and with air, it's about kind of like the grand air chart. It's about bouncing off ideas, working and cooperating with people to get the job done. And it's very positive. So we are feeling very positive and future oriented under this full moon in Aries. Now, we do have Pluto at 26 degrees Capricorn, no longer retrograde. Thank goodness. Uh, but we still have the connection with Saturn because the depositor here, Pluto, the powerhouse, the powers that be, connected with Saturn retrograde. So we will still have to watch out with conflicts with authorities, the powers that be. Uh, However, there may be some good news connected with business, finance, the economy, especially since Pluto is no longer retrograde. There may be a lot of discussions about businesses connected with technological gains, scientific thought, and so on and so forth because of the connection with Saturn and Aquarius now with Pluto direct. However, just past the full moon in Aries, there will be a cardinal T square later on in October. So with cardinal, it's always about taking the lead, wanting to be number one, which is great. But when you're talking a T square here, there may be some desires to get ahead, and we may find that connected especially with business because Pluto is in Capricorn and the Sun and Venus are in Libra, Aries full moon. We may feel like we want to take the lead and find that other people want to take the lead too. And that's where the trick is here with this cardinal T square, especially just after the full moon. Uh, Not so much on the day of the full moon, but yes, just after, is to what? Which is the whole message of this full moon, which is to cooperate, which is to bring peace into the atmosphere. But if we don't do that, we are bound to run into some situations of conflict equally with each other because why? What is Libra representative of? Libra is about justice and it's about fairness. So, just after the full moon, at one point, we may feel like there is an injustice that we have to justify or we have to create a certain amount of equality or fairness. And this then will be the discussion towards mid month, just after the full moon. It's all about equality. It could be about the legal system or the justice system where we are at least opening up and talking with each other because of this beautiful air grand trine and this Libra Aries emphasis. But, and of course, especially because of this sweet sextile between the full moon in Aries and very variety oriented uh, Mars and Gemini. But we also feel like, hey, we need to open up and have discussions on what is the state of equality, what is the state of fairness. And there could be highlighted within the public and in our personal life a need to bring equality and fairness into a particular personal situation that we may have to contend with. And if you want to go beyond that, it may be that some issue actually directly dealing with legalities or contracts and so on may be paramount that we may have to resolve. But at the very least, we're going to have to find that balance of what is right, what is wrong, getting along. But the beauty about this chart is at least we are opening up and having discussions, and we have a really positive attitude to whatever uncertainty regarding justice may occur. And as always, this is dealing with what is known now, popular, but it's also dealing with social media. So, whatever occurs that deals with justice, fairness, legalities, and so on will receive a lot of mileage within the social sphere. Uh, and that's the media, personally, social media, and so forth. A lot of discussion. What is right? What is wrong? And so on and so forth. So we will have to keep that in mind. And we do have yet Neptune still retrograde in Pisces, and that makes a square off to Mars in Gemini. So, Mars in Gemini, Mars is the go getter, it's about action. And with Gemini, that's so very much about communication and taking action. But we still have Neptune in this deceptive Pisces. So, yeah, we may have to get to the bottom of some kind of an annoying thought that there could be secrets that are kept hidden, especially from the past, Neptune retrograde. And we don't really know if we're being told the truth. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But Neptune retrograde right now, and especially Mars providing much in the way of many modes of communication, is going to want to get to the bottom of things. So, yes, it's the time to go back and do some investigation. Neptune is connected with the 12th house, so we're going to be doing some digging that might be personal with regards to relationships, could be work, could be family, wherever you have this square off in your chart, but it's important to find out the truth. Now, because Neptune is still retrograde, there are going to be probable issues with water, the uh, the the increase of water, like an overabundance of water, say like hurricanes, rain, yes, tsunamis, and so on, or because it is retrograde, there on the other end of the spectrum could be issues of the lack of water. But nonetheless, Neptune retrograde, there could be some wonderful historic finds that come about as well. But it's also a great time to do some research connected with the metaphysical, the psychical, and so on and so forth. And especially since there's a sweet earth and water sextile continuing with Uranus, even retrograde, with Neptune in Pisces. So that is great, especially when it comes to anything historical and the earth and so on. That earth water connection. And so we do have yet, yes, we have the north and south node in Scorpio. We have Saturn retrograde in Aquarius and Scorpio Taurus axis and Saturn in Aquarius. So that square, that fixed T square is there, and that connects with the collective because Saturn is in Aquarius and its depositor is Uranus in Taurus, falling into that fixed T square. So, yes, we will have to be cautious of sudden upsets, Uranus, and bullying and conflicts right now. But the good news is here there is a very uh, easygoing, very connective, very communicative full moon. So I'm apt to believe no matter what transpires, still with a little bit of this chaos going on, we are going to open up and talk to each other and have discussions. So that is the full moon in Aries outlook. And my advice is yes, go with the flow. Don't be too overtly aggressive to take the lead. Yes, look to fairness and equality, even in all discussions, and Don't get lost in drama and conflicts or feistiness. And this full moon in Aries right now is going to be very well Libra, easygoing, filled with harmony and communication.